Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing several of my favorite recipes that I make all the time that have helped me to lose over 50 pounds in the past several months. Before we get into all the recipes, I do want to do a quick little tidy in like our kitchen and main living area, but that'll be perfect because it'll give you a quick little boost of cleaning motivation, and it'll also give me the opportunity to just kind of chat with you guys and share exactly what I've been doing and what has finally worked. Because if you're new here, you're unfamiliar, I actually have been struggling with Hashimoto's over the last several years, and so I finally have found something that works for me, and I've been feeling so much better. So let's do a little cleaning, then we'll get into all the recipes. Let's do this.
Through the window, past the dirt road, watching clouds flow through the sky, where the time stands still, where my world was built, in the walls I left behind, of all the places I've been.
Okay, so today's video is not focused on cleaning motivation. However, I did want to kind of share a more in-depth of exactly what I'm doing, exactly what my situation is, and hopefully that can help you get a better idea and just a better understanding of everything before we get into the recipes. So while I'm doing that, instead of just sitting here listening to me talk, I figured I would give you a quick little cleaning motivation boost, and I can kind of explain what exactly I'm doing, and then we'll get into all the recipes. So rewind back to 2018. I had started gaining weight and I was unable to stop it. I was working out, I was eating healthy, I was doing different diets and different ways of eating, and nothing was sticking. And that's very not typical for how I had been in the past. Like if I had gained a little weight, I was typically able to do the things that normally you should be able to do, like lower my calorie intake and work out, and none of that stuff was working at this point. And so I was just like beside myself, not really sure what was going on. I was also starting to not feel very good. So fast forward then 1 year to 2019, and I actually was doing a sit down video, and one of you guys had mentioned in the video to go ahead and check my thyroid because the symptoms that I was sharing, and also she was a nurse and she said it looked like my thyroid was enlarged. And so sure enough, I went to the doctor and they tested me and they were like, yep, 100% you have Hashimoto's, which is basically an autoimmune disorder where my immune system attacks my thyroid. So there's a whole long list of things that go along with this, but one of the things has been weight gain, and it was just really kind of disheartening, I guess, to see like I would try different things and I would really work hard at it and nothing would move. Like in fact, if I wasn't diligently working hard, really hard to try to lose weight, I would actually just gain weight, and it was very frustrating. And that was definitely not the only thing that I was dealing with Hashimoto's, but that was one of the things that was just kind of outwardly shown, and it was a frustrating time for me. And so now we can fast forward to February of this year, so 2024, and I had basically just kind of hit a brick wall. I was really struggling. I wasn't feeling good. I was just not feeling like myself. I was at my heaviest, and I was just kind of fed up with going to different doctors and not figuring out something that would work well for me. And so I did so much research in like the amount of 2 days. I just sat there and that's all I focused on, was just reading and watching videos and learning different things. And the thing that I kind of landed on was Clean Keto. Now, I was a little bit hesitant of this because in the years past, I actually had done keto and I didn't have good results on it. I didn't feel good about it. I didn't feel like I was eating healthy. I didn't feel my best. And on top of it, I just didn't lose any weight really. I think I lost maybe 5 pounds in like a couple of months. And so I just was not really a fan of that. But Clean Keto seemed to be a little bit different. It seemed like a more healthier option. And so I have been doing Clean Keto with a few other things that I'll get into in a second ever since February of 2024. And at this time, I have lost just over 50 pounds. And honestly, I actually just feel a lot better when I eat this way. So I think it'll kind of be a bit of a lifestyle for me with a little bit more laid back moments as I approach closer to kind of where I want to be. So now that I've explained kind of the background of everything, I wanted to really kind of go in depth on exactly how I've been eating. So I have been doing, as I mentioned, clean keto. And basically what that is I am making sure to stay under 20 net carbs every single day. And the way you figure out net carbs is you take the total carbohydrates and you subtract the fiber. But I feel like the difference between clean keto and traditional keto, or some people call it dirty keto, is when I had done this before, I was eating just like heavy cream and burgers and lots of cheese and stuff like that. It was just like high fat foods, but not really focusing on the quality of the food that I was eating. And so as I've been doing clean keto, I have focused on a lot more of the quality. So I'm trying to get better quality meats and cheeses if I do that. And I'm also eating a lot more vegetables and stuff this time. And that's actually one thing that I have done a little bit different than maybe some have done on keto, is I do not really worry too much about adding in the carbs or net carbs of vegetables, as long as it is like a low carb veggie. So for example, I'm not gonna have potatoes at all just because those are high in carbs. However, broccoli is a low carb food. Yes, it might be like 2 or 3 carbs for a serving, but even if I don't have that in my day, I'm still going to have that broccoli, because I have noticed when I load up on my veggies, like I lose weight so much faster. And I also just feel a lot better when I eat that way. So that's just what has worked for me. But the other thing that I've been doing is I have been intermittent fasting, which honestly has been such a game changer for me in so many ways, because one, it's just nice to not have to worry about an additional meal every day. And I'm not typically a big breakfast person like right when I wake up. So usually my eating window is between like noon and 8. So when I wake up, I don't eat anything at all until about noon. But if I'm really hungry in the morning, then sure, I will break my fast a little bit sooner. And then I will have lunch as my first meal. I will try not to snack a whole ton during the day, and then I'll have dinner. Sometimes I'll have a little treat or something after dinner, something that stays within my 20 net carbs each day. And then I won't snack or anything in the evening. And that has been so huge for me. I feel like it just has allowed my body to really kind of heal and not spend the whole time focusing on digesting, and instead it can repair itself and just do a lot of good stuff. So anyway, that's kind of the details of what I've been doing. But if you have any questions about what I've been doing, or any questions about like clean keto, intermittent fasting, all this stuff, let me know in the comments and I will do my best to get back to everybody. But between eating clean keto, staying under 20 net carbs every day, loading up on my low carb veggies, and then intermittent fasting, I have just felt so much better. And I'm so grateful that I've finally been able to move the scale, because it's just something that I've struggled with for so many years. And it feels so good to feel like I finally have a little control in that area of my life.
One more step moving to the sound. Numbers make their way down, make their way down. Though it's gone with a trace, let's pretend, put a smile on face, blow the fire away, fire away. The more I think about it, tough, the more I get to feeling rough. Don't wanna celebrate, time keeps running and I'm running out of time. Kick 'em up, add the layers to the tan lines. Strut your stuff, let the silver hit the sunshine. Can you hear the sound of the angels around?
Okay, super random, but I did want to let you guys know this week we are actually in the middle of filming the room rescue, which will be up this next Monday. So stay tuned for that. We are going to be at Sam and Haley's house. If you haven't seen the vlog, you can go ahead and check that out over on our Kyle and Amanda vlog channel, but that's where we actually are introducing you guys to Sam and Haley and kind of sharing their home and what we're gonna do there. But make sure to subscribe, turn on your notification bell, because you do not want to miss. It's turning out so good, you guys.
Put a smile on her face, blow the fire away. Time keeps running and I'm running out of time. Put a smile on her face, blow the fire away. Time keeps running and I'm running out of time.
Okay, everything is looking so good. It feels so good. We have like a nice little reset, and I'm ready to start cooking and sharing these delicious recipes with you guys. And by the way, even if you're not eating keto, you are going to like these recipes. These are not just like, you know, you have to struggle to eat them. No matter what way of eating you're doing right now, you're gonna love these recipes. One thing about myself is I am the type of person that I put an immense amount of pressure on myself to do the things that I feel I need to do. I will do that to a fault. Like I will do that until I just am so stressed out about it, because I will add and add and add and not remove anything. And so eventually everything just became too much for me. And especially when I was really in the thick of my Hashimoto's, I just wasn't feeling well. And so eventually I just kind of like let go of things. And one of the things that I ended up letting go of a little bit was to not put as huge of a focus of having clean items in my home. And when I mean clean, I mean like non-toxic items. So now that I feel like I have my Hashimoto's under control enough, I have been kind of on a journey to once again remove all of those toxic items from my home and just make sure that I'm providing the cleanest non-toxic home that I can for my family. So back when we got our new induction cooktop, we got a new set of pots and pans because we just wanted ones that I felt like would work really, really well with the induction. But I was under the impression that our new pots and pan set was non-toxic. And as I'm kind of like switching things out slowly, I looked up our pots and pans. They are not non-toxic. And I'm so bothered by that, especially because I cook for my family constantly. Every day. When you have toxic cookware, it can just be so damaging to your health. And it's actually really shocking and a little bit unsettling to find out how intense toxic cookware can be. In just about 2.5 minutes of heating your toxic cookware, it will start emitting those toxins into your food, and you don't smell it, you don't taste it, so you don't even have any idea. But the outcome of it is it's been linked to cancer, it's been linked to birth defects, like behavioral issues. There is so much, and honestly, I feel like there's probably even more that we aren't aware of, but changing out your cookware is just such a simple and really effective way to do this. And then like I'm continuing throughout the rest of my home, but I know that this is something that's going to affect every single person in my family every single day. So I definitely think it's worth the investment to make sure that you are getting non-toxic cookware. So I am super excited to be teaming up with Caraway in today's video, and I have their pots and pans set. So as I'm cooking today, you are going to see me using them. If you're unfamiliar with Caraway, they are a non-toxic kitchenware brand. I have other Caraway products in my kitchen as well, but today we are going to be focusing on the cookware just because I feel like that's the most used item in your kitchen, or at least in mine. That's what I use the most. I constantly am pulling out my pots and pans. So this set comes as a 4-piece cookware set, but it also comes with lids, and it even comes with storage, so you can store your pots and pans really nicely. They're not going to get scratched up or damaged, and it even comes with storage for the lids. So it does come in a ton of different colors. So you have 2 good sized pans, a saute pan and a fry pan, and then you also have your Dutch oven and the saucepan. One thing that's really, really neat about Caraway is they are completely non-toxic. They are really, really good quality. But if you look at the inside, you have this really beautiful ceramic coating, which is naturally very slick, so you don't have to use as much like butter or oil, but you're not sacrificing your health. They kind of act like they're non-stick because of that slippery ceramic coating. So I do feel like it's the best of both worlds. Now, if you are in need of some new cookware, and especially if you're trying to make your home non-toxic, I cannot recommend Caraway enough. And I would recommend getting their cookware set because it does come with all 4 pots, all the lids, and like I said, the storage. So you have all the stuff you need. When you get the entire set, you immediately save 20% right off the top. And I also have a coupon code for you guys, so that'll stack on top of that discounted rate already. So I will have the information on the screen here, as well as down in the description box and also in the pinned comment. Make sure you check it out. You guys are gonna love it. And as I'm sharing my recipes today, you'll get to see in action how incredible these work. Now let's get to it. All right, so I'm gonna share 2 breakfast options, 2 lunch options, 2 dinner options, a snack, and then also a treat. So if you are interested in trying to eat this way, I wanted to give you like a good head start, but I also wanted to say everything is either coming from just myself, like making it up, or kind of figuring it out over time, because I've been doing this now, I guess since like February. They either kind of have come just from me figuring it out, or they've come from these 2 cookbooks, which I will link down below, but they have been my favorite of the ones that I've tried so far. Okay, so The first breakfast is actually one that Luke found and he made for me. Our whole family loves this recipe so much, so we have made it so many times since. And then the other breakfast recipe is a bake, so it's perfect for if you have busy mornings, then you can go ahead and make it, set it in the fridge, and then just reheat it as you need. Whereas the other one is more of like, make it when you're ready. This one is more like, we love to make this on the weekends where we can just really kind of enjoy it together. And by the way, all of these recipes are going to have recipe cards, so I will pop them up on the screen before we make them, and then you can go ahead and screenshot those, print them out, whatever you want to do. But the first recipe that we're going to make is the bacon and caramelized onion breakfast bake. It's so delicious, super, super flavorful, but like I said, it's perfect because you could make it like on the weekend and then just have it and heat it up throughout the week. So first you're going to need half a cup of chopped onions, 6 slices of bacon chopped, salt and pepper, 10 large eggs, a 1/4 cup of water, and 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh parsley, or in my case, I'm just gonna be using dried parsley because that's what I have. All right, so you just want to grab your pan. This is the smaller of the 2 caraway pans, but I'm gonna stick this on my stove top. Go ahead and turn it to like a medium heat and it will heat up very, very quickly. And basically what we're going to do is actually saute all of the ingredients right into the pan. So I'm gonna chop up my onions, put those into the pan, and then saute everything together, cook the bacon in there. And then once that's all cooked, we're going to add it into a casserole dish, like a 9x9 baking dish, or the egg mixture over top, and then we'll pop it in the oven. So actually that reminds me, I need to preheat my oven first to 375 degrees. All right, we're gonna cook very vlog style today so that I can actually get everything done because I'm sharing so many recipes. So while this is cooking, mostly we're kind of working on the bacon, we are going to start on our second breakfast meal, and that is the chorizo and turnip hash. Especially if you're on keto and you're missing potatoes, this is for you. Like, turnips are so perfect for that. So for that recipe, you are going to need 1 tablespoon of olive oil or avocado oil, whatever good oil you have, 4 cups peeled and diced turnips, 1 pound of Mexican style chorizo, 1 chopped onion, 1 red bell pepper, a heaping tablespoon of minced garlic, or however much garlic your heart desires, half a teaspoon of chipotle powder. That's what's going to make this feel a little bit spicy, but not too spicy. But if you want it less spicy, just kind of omit that or add a little bit less. Then you'll need some salt and pepper, 6 large eggs, and then some cilantro to top it all off. Okay, so for the hash, we are going to be using our big pan. I'm gonna start out actually by chopping everything up just so it's ready to go. But basically we're going to peel and dice up the turnips. I'm gonna add that right into the pan, cook that for a few minutes. Then we'll add in the chorizo, chop that up, cook that up. And then after about 5 minutes or until that's about cooked, then we'll add in like the onion, the bell pepper, and all that stuff, and the garlic. And then we'll end up adding the eggs in last. So this is looking and smelling so good. I did make this recipe a little bit bigger just so it'll last a little longer. Plus Kyle's actually eating this way with me too, so I wanted to make a little bit extra. So we're adding all of those diced turnips into the pan, and this is all done now. Do you like barely cooked bacon or really crisp bacon? I love crispy bacon, so that's what I go with for sure. And we'll just stir this up. And I'm just gonna start cracking a bunch of eggs into a bowl, and then I'm gonna add in a 1/4 cup of water just to kind of fluff up the egg. 1. Okay, so to grease your baking dish, you're actually just going to use the bacon grease in here. So you want to put that in first. And like, do you see how I can literally wipe this out and it'd be good? Look at that cleanup, easy. We're gonna take this and just kind of slosh it around, and that's just going to help everything not stick. So you kind of want to get it up on the edges a little bit too, and make sure that that bacon grease kind of gets everywhere so it won't stick and it can actually be released. Now we're actually going to kind of put this into like a single layer, kind of press everything down, and then we'll pour the egg mixture over top. And you want to do this kind of slowly so that it doesn't really disrupt the bacon and it kind of stays a little bit more on the bottom. And then we're actually just gonna take our fork and kind of like swirl it around so it all gets nice and distributed, and that you have a little bit of that bacon kind of coming up into the egg. So good. And now we'll open up our oven at 375, and we'll just pop this in here and let it firm up and cook up. We're gonna set a timer for 25 minutes and we'll check it. And then once the egg is done, it's good to go. But at this point, these are cooked enough, our turnips. So we're gonna go ahead and add in the chorizo, and I'm gonna get to chopping the rest of the veggies like onion, bell pepper, and all that stuff for this recipe. We're going to add in the rest of our veggies, and we're also going to add in our minced garlic, salt and pepper, chipotle seasoning. Okay, so from here, if you have an oven-safe skillet, you can actually do the entire thing in the skillet. If you don't have an oven-safe skillet, then you can actually just pop it in. Just transfer this into a baking dish. Make sure that the turnips are nice and fork tender. Make sure that your meat is cooked. And then that's how you know it's ready. So I'm actually not going to finish this dish today because once you add the eggs in, it kind of just needs to be enjoyed. In my opinion, I don't think it reheats that well once the eggs are added, but you can make it just like this, make it ahead, and then either cook it up individually like throughout the week, or you can make it then on like a busy morning and it takes no time at all. So you're going to create wells right in the dish itself. You're gonna make 6 different wells, and then you're going to actually crack an egg into each well. So you're gonna add 6 eggs, and then you're going to pop it in the oven in a 375-degree oven. And depending on if you like your yolk to be runny or not, you can do like 18 to 20 minutes. I would just suggest kind of checking on them and seeing how they're looking. And once the egg is cooked to your liking, then you're good to go. And this is such an incredibly delicious breakfast. Super, super filling and still keto friendly. Okay, so that is just kind of finishing up. I do have some hard-boiled eggs going over here in my little egg cooker. It's just like the quickest and easiest way to make hard-boiled eggs, so that's what I usually do. I'm going to actually clean this pan up because we're gonna use it to cook a little bacon for our salad. And I'm gonna show you, like, look how already it hasn't been cleaned at all. And it's gonna take literally seconds to basically soap it up and then rinse it off. I love the ceramic coating. Just like that, it looks like a completely brand new pan. Okay, so for lunches, I will typically either do leftovers, which is one of my favorites, a salad, which is what I'm gonna show you today, or I'll actually do a breakfast meal because I typically will intermittent fast. So lunch is like my first meal of the day. So I'm good to have breakfast at noon or whatever, but I feel like salads get a bad rap because it's like, oh, you just want like lettuce and dressing and that's it. But I'm gonna show you some really simple and quick ways to super level up your salad. And these are 2 of my favorites. So the first one is going to be like a Cobb salad. So you're going to have like hard-boiled eggs, which I always have in the fridge, just already ready made. But if not, then they only take a few minutes to make anyway. I also love to add bacon onto this. So you can either fry it up, you can get like the kind of pre-cooked bacon, or you can make it ahead of time and stick it in the fridge, which is also what I love to do. And I'll show you how to like level up your dressing really, really easily. And then also with like a Cobb salad, we'll add an avocado. You can add some tomatoes in there. Also, this is totally optional, but if you have not ever had the pepperoncinis, the sliced ones are just really convenient, but if you have not ever had those in your salad, you're missing out. They are so, so good. You can also add in like lunch meat, just kind of whatever, but let me show you this first one. So like I said, you can change this up, but the secret ingredient is, especially if you're on keto and you're trying to kind of up your fats a little bit, is bacon grease. Now you do want to make sure that you're getting a higher quality bacon. You want to make sure that there's not a lot of sugar in the dressing, but if you have just a little extra bacon grease and you kind of drizzle that on, it is going to take your salad to like the very next level. And if you don't want to cook bacon every time, you can actually save this in the fridge and then just kind of heat it up really quick and drizzle it over your salad, and it's delicious. So let's put this together. But first, let's check on our egg bake. I feel like for me at least, like egg bakes always take longer than they say they're going to take, but you want to make sure it's nice and firm in the middle. So it's looking good. So we're gonna start just with some simple spring mix. Next, we're just going to slice up some hard-boiled eggs and add that on top. Also slice up some tomatoes. Next, we'll add in some bacon and then some of those pepperoni peppers. Then finally, you can add in whatever dressing you want. You want to just kind of drizzle it on a little bit, being mindful of it. And then here's our secret ingredient. We are going to add a little bit of that bacon grease. Just literally mix it all up and like make sure to drizzle that bacon grease and everything in there, because it will coat the lettuce and make it taste so good. Like the flavor of this is so amazing. So the next salad that we're gonna do is actually two of my favorites kind of combined into one. So I don't know if you guys have seen the trend, I'm sure you have, where you make a chopped salad, but like a truly chopped up, like minced up salad almost. It's so delicious. And if you haven't tried it, I would urge you to try it, because you can not only have it like that and like scoop it if you wanted, but you can also put it in a lettuce wrap if you wanted. You can also make like a wrap or something with it, which is what I'm gonna do, and I'll show you one of my favorite wraps that's keto friendly. But with that chopped salad, you can make a ton of different styles. I'm actually gonna do a Greek version, because Greek is like some of my favorite foods. So let me see if I can get like a bite of everything in here. It's so good, especially with like I said, that bacon grease just adds another layer. You can just customize this so much. So salad is one of my favorite lunches. A little hack for this, if you get one of these, I don't know what you call them, hand pressed food choppers, it works really good. And I'm gonna use the smaller piece, but literally we're just going to press things here, chop it up. The only thing is first I need to wash some of my lettuce. So I have romaine lettuce here to start. That's gonna be my base. You can choose whatever lettuce you want. And then I'm also gonna wash my cucumber. Usually I end up just chopping the lettuce with, like I'll chop everything else, then I'll chop the lettuce myself, but I'm gonna see how it works with it chopping in here. I'm guessing it'll work good, but fingers crossed. Yep, that works great. Now we're gonna add in the cucumber. So we're gonna do the same type of thing. As you see, like everything's just getting nice and finely chopped in there. Next, we're gonna do our meat, which I'm using pepperoni, but you can use whatever floats your boat. And like I said, this is more like Greek style. Make whatever kind you want. Yeah, I'm just gonna slice up the pepperoni myself. I haven't done it with pepperoni before, but it works really good for all the veggies. So we have pitted Guatemala olives. I love olives, and if you are doing keto, they are a great addition to just about anything. They're so good. And then I'm also just gonna add in some green olives just because I think green olives are delicious too. And even though these are already small, I'm just gonna add them in because then it kind of mixes in well and it'll just chop them up even more fine. Also add in some of those peppercini peppers. And this almost gives it like a little bite if you haven't had them before. Tomatoes, you could add in avocado, like whatever. That's what I love about salads. You can just customize them exactly how you want. And then finally, we're gonna add some cheese, some feta cheese. But from here, we are just going to dump all of this right onto our cutting board and we're gonna start like kind of mincing it up. This chopper, look how already chopped it is. Like you could honestly even leave it as this and you would be good to go. But I just like to run my knife through it a little bit further. But if you're not doing that, if you don't have a chopper, it's fine. You would just lay everything out almost like in a pile and then you just start mincing it up. Okay, and now here is where you can decide how you want to eat it. Do you want to eat it in a wrap? Do you want to actually wrap it in lettuce? I've even just grabbed like a spoon and I will just scoop it like this. And that's also kind of a nice, simple way to eat it too. This is perfect for on the go. If you have it in a wrap or you just have it in a bowl, you can just eat it like that. But this is where you'll actually add in your dressing. So I'm just gonna drizzle this on. And because this is kind of like, just has a lot of good flavors, like I don't even feel like you need a whole lot. Just a little drizzle, and then you can give it one more run through with a knife. And kind of keep folding it in on top of itself. So there's two different options. One, you can do lavash flatbread. This is going to be a higher carb option. So typically with this, I will cut the entire flatbread in half. So it ends up being like about 5.5 carbs for half of this. And even though that doesn't seem like a lot, it does just fill you up more than you think. If you don't have a lot of carbs, these carb balance ones are only 2 net carbs. So that really doesn't take a lot of your carbs. So that's actually what I'm gonna go for today. And this is a lot, so this would typically probably go for like both Kyle and I for lunch. But if there's extra, I can just eat it in a bowl. Take it like this, and you just add it into your wrap. How good does that look? Now you have a salad that's not truly, it doesn't feel like a salad, but you have all the things of a salad. It's so good. And this one's Greek, super delish. All right, we are moving on to dinners. One of my favorite dinners forever and ever and ever, and probably always will be, is tacos. But you have to get a little bit creative when you do tacos. No beans, no rice if you add any of that like on the side or anything. And then the tortilla, you have to get creative with that. So I did want to mention, it's like a zero net carb mini tortillas. You can see like they are tiny, but they're 0 carbs, and I will put them in a pan and then melt some cheese in there. They are delicious, and you can have like 3 of them and they will fill you up. So I did want to mention that in case you want like straight up tacos. But today I'm actually going to be sharing taco soup. This is super, super quick and easy. So I actually just had tacos the other night and I ended up having extra taco meat. So we're just gonna use that. So any leftover taco meat you have, this is about 1 pound of taco meat, then you can make this recipe super quick and easy. If not, you'll just use regular ground beef and taco seasoning and you can make it up like that too. But let's go ahead and get it going. All right, so for the taco soup recipe, you are going to need 1 pound of ground beef, also 2 cups of beef broth, some taco seasoning, diced tomatoes, 8 ounces of cream cheese, and then salt and pepper. And like I said, if you have taco meat already made up and you have about 1 pound of it, then you can just use up your leftover taco meat in place of the ground beef and taco seasoning. Okay, I just want to take a moment. Do you see how my pans actually kind of match my island? That's a lot of the reason why I ended up picking these ones. But I think they're so pretty. So anyway, that's all. So literally this is like a dump and go recipe, super, super easy. So like I said, typically if I don't have taco meat already made, I will add in my own ground beef and the taco seasoning. First you want to obviously brown your ground beef. But since I already have my taco meat made from the other night, I'm just gonna use this up. Perfect. And I will say a lot of times I'll actually use like the bigger pan for this, because a lot of times I will actually double this recipe. That way we just have leftovers for longer. I'm using the fire roasted diced tomatoes to give a little extra flavor. I just kind of like that. And then we're going to do 2 cups of beef broth. If you don't have beef broth, you can use chicken. I've used chicken before when I don't have this on hand, because I pretty much always have chicken broth on hand. But if you don't, you can use chicken and it works. I do think the beef broth does taste a little better. Now add just a little bit of salt and pepper, but you can always add this at the end. And then we're going to add in 1 package, so 8 ounces of cream cheese right into here. It's literally dump and go. It kind of just depends how long I would have to let this simmer. I would say at least like let it simmer for probably 20 minutes, but of course like the longer you let it go, the more the flavors kind of get a chance to meld together. You can just dump the whole block in, but unless you're gonna kind of babysit it, which I never do, I just like to kind of break it up and cut it into little cubes, and it just seems to work a little better. So the taco soup is going, it's just kind of heating up. Literally, there's nothing else to do for that one. But I also filmed a different recipe another night, so I'm gonna go ahead and insert that footage right here. But basically, it's just a really quick and easy go-to. It's just chicken tenders and then whatever kind of veggies you want. But I'm gonna share some of my favorite like little tricks to like kind of zest it up a little bit, and also my favorite seasonings. So anyway, we'll insert that footage here. It's a quick, super simple meal. Don't feel like you always have to have like a recipe. You can definitely make some of your basic staples, and a lot of times they fit into keto. And then once that's done, I'll show you how the soup is turning out. Okay, so for this recipe, super simple, but basically you're just going to grab a large skillet like I have here, and then you're going to add in a little bit of oil, add in your chicken tenders. You can use chicken breasts or chicken thighs, whatever you want. I kind of like the chicken tenders just because they cook up really quick and easily, and also I feel like they literally are just more tender, so that's kind of our favorite. Then you're going to sprinkle on some ranch seasoning. Now this one is my favorite ranch seasoning because there's no extra stuff in there. There's not additives or anything. It's literally just seasoning, but it gives such a good flavor. You're going to cook that for a few minutes, flip it over. Then once it's partway cooked, I like to then go ahead and slice it up into bite-sized pieces, return it back to the pan. We add in 2 bags of frozen broccoli and cauliflower or whatever frozen veggies we have on hand. And then you're going to cover that and let that cook for about 10 minutes on medium to low heat. And then to finish it all off, you can just sprinkle it with cheese if you like. It's such a hit. Even if you have kids that don't like veggies, it's covered in cheese and all the ranch seasoning, and it tastes so good. And it's super low carb. All right, I'm gonna take a quick minute, wash up our dishes. The dishwasher is running. I forgot to start it earlier. And then I'll share some snacks. Well, I'll share one snack, but I also, on the side of the screen, I think I'll end up putting up like a list of just like my favorite keto snacks. Now, I don't try to snack all day long. I feel like that's kind of an easy habit to get into, is like you just go in the kitchen for something and then you get a snack, like you grab something. So with keto, I've definitely become like more aware of that because I can't just grab any normal snack. And so also with that, I've tried to eat lunch, and then I try to just kind of limit my snacking during the day, which gives my body more of an opportunity to kind of like work on digesting. And then after I share my snacks, then I also am gonna share a sweet treat. If you can find some, like I feel like you have to have some sometimes. At least for me, like I need a little sweet treat here and there. And so these are a really good option when you have a little sweet tooth, but you're still kind of trying to stay on track. All right, I'm gonna share one of my favorite little snacks. You do have to have a pan that, like, you can't use stainless steel or something. It needs to be slick like this. You're literally just going to turn it to like medium heat. You want to let it get warm first, okay? And then we are going to add in some shredded cheese straight into your pan. I know this sounds crazy, but you are going to make like the yummiest little cheese crisps. Grab a little like rubber scraper, and that's what you're gonna use to flip this. Or you could probably use a spatula. I just always use rubber scrapers, but I'll just show you the magic. It's incredible. And if you let it sit for a while, like if you let it cool, it'll actually crisp up and give you that really nice crunchy texture that you kind of miss on keto sometimes. When you can't have things like chips or stuff like that, this will kind of replicate that feel. And if you want to get extra creative, you can even make this like your little taco shell. It is a little messier, but super delicious. Look at how crunchy this is now that it's cooled for a second. You ready? Do you hear that? It's like a little chewy in spots, really crunchy in others. So yummy. We are going to make my sweet treat, and it's going to be peanut butter cookies. We're gonna set the oven to 350 degrees. These cookies are 3 ingredients and they're 3 net carbs each, so perfect for that quick little sweet treat. Get some 0 sugar, so make sure it's 0 sugar peanut butter just to make sure they don't add anything else in. I like getting the crunchy peanut butter just because it has a little extra texture, but that's totally optional. You could just do the creamy if you want. Crunchy peanut butter. Swerve, which is like a 0 sugar sweetener, and then 1 egg, and that's it. Okay, so for those cookies, we are going to grab a mixing bowl, and then this is actually really cool. It's just, you can measure wet ingredients or dry ingredients in this. We'll measure out 1/2 cup, and we're gonna pour our sugar in here. And this is just a 1-to-1 ratio. So you're gonna pour that right in. And then for the peanut butter, we're gonna measure down to 1 cup. Add that right in, and this is where this container is nice just because you can press it out. And then finally we're just gonna crack 1 egg in here and give it a good mix. That is literally it. I feel like peanut butter cookies are always really easy to make, and these are really no different. Just simple, straightforward peanut butter cookies, but without regular sugar and instead using like a sugar-free sugar. I'm just gonna use this little scooper so that I can get them all kind of like the same size. I'm gonna pop them on here, and then once I get them all done, then I'll roll them all up. And this should make like about 14 or 15, but we'll see what size they come out to when I scoop them. You never know. I love baking. I feel like I definitely don't bake as much as I used to when my kids were a little bit younger. Maybe because I've kind of stopped eating gluten a lot of times. But anyway, these cookies are so good. Now, I will say this was my first time using the Swerve sweetener, and I'm not the biggest fan of it actually. So in the past, I've used stevia in the raw, and I've also used monk fruit, and I would recommend either of those more than the Swerve, but it's really whatever your preference is. You just want to use like a 0-calorie sweetener because it's going to be little to no carbs. But anyway, I hope you guys try out some of these recipes. And like I said, whether you're on keto or if you're not, these are just good recipes. They are really, really tasty. They're very easy and simple to make, as you saw today. And I also did want to mention, even if you don't have an issue like Hashimoto's like I do, I really feel like eating this way can help anyone. My mother-in-law, for example, actually started eating the same way maybe like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and she is down 25 pounds. I'm so proud of her, but I just feel like it can help so many people, even if the point is just to kind of give you a boost or head start on everything. And if nothing else, I also feel like it just helps you make a little bit better choices because you're really watching your sugars. You're not snacking a lot, you're adding in a lot more veggies and just healthier foods. So anyway, I'm not a doctor or anything. Definitely check with your own doctor on if this would be helpful for you. And like I mentioned earlier, we have room rescue coming next week, and the following week I'm decorating for Christmas. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on all of that goodness. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And if you want to see more recipes, I have an entire playlist I'm going to put on the right side of the screen right here, so you can go ahead and check that out. And I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.